So let's talk about how we might program for these different phases and improve speed in team sports. One of the first points that I make when discussing programming for linear speed in team sports is that there is a lot of value in sprints that are greater than 10 meters in distance. I think it's a common coaching practice to keep players around that 10-meter mark, maybe that 15-meter mark, when it comes to implementing speed training in a team sports setting. But to me, there's a lot of value in exposing players to distances greater than that. I understand why coaches try to keep the distance shorter because they believe that there is more safety in that kind of practice, where keeping an athlete at a shorter distance will help reduce the incidence of hamstring tightness or hamstring issues or any other soft tissue injury or detriment that occurs from sprinting at longer distances. However, I think that there is a misguided mindset behind that because it's important to expose athletes to these higher speeds where we don't want the first time that the athlete experiences that kind of speed to occur in a practice or game setting. So for me, there is a lot of value in sprinting further than 10 meters, but doing so in a way that is logical and progressive in nature so that the athlete is able to handle each stage of higher and higher speed exposure. And so this is a table that came from a paper by Dr. Ken Clark, where he looked at the 2016 NFL or National Football League combine and the 40-yard dash test in particular, and looking at the percentage of maximum velocity for all participants at each of these early sprint segments right here. So we had a 10-yard, a 15-yard, and a 20-yard sprint segment that was being discussed in the paper. And next to that, I have the equivalent distance in meters. And what we can see from this table is that at 18.3 meters or 20 yards, every athlete that participated there was somewhere between 93 and 96% of their maximum speed at that 20-yard mark. So what was shown by this paper is that sprints that are around 20 meters will allow for greater than 90% maximum speed for American football players. It'll be even closer to 100% speed for those athletes that are a little bit slower. However, there are multiple papers that continue to reinforce that this is common for just about every team sport. If we look at soccer, if we look at rugby, so even elite sprinters from this paper by Healy, Kenny, and Harrison in 2019, even elite sprinters are are about 90% of their maximum speed at 20 meters. Some of them are greater than 90%, but most of them are somewhere around 90% of their maximum speed at 20 meters. And these are elite sprinters. So team sport athletes will achieve their top speed faster than elite sprinters. So if we start to think about the notion of this, if we can have athletes sprinting, team sport players sprinting somewhere around 20 yards or 18 plus meters, we're going to allow them to be closer and closer to their maximum speed. So again, these are not even distances that are that long in nature, but if we can get an athlete to about 30 meters in training, then we can ensure that they are going to be operating around 100% of their maximum speed.
That concludes the preview of this fundamentals course. You can learn more about fundamentals and how you can use this course to help you continue your education and get CEUs at strengthcoachnetwork.com. Again, head to strengthcoachnetwork.com and you can be able to enroll in this course and be able to obtain CEUs to help you keep your certification.